All right. Okay, it's been a while since I last shared in Creator. So, so I'm really excited to see quite a number of them here. Uh, like to not share my face. Why when I share screen and showing my I shared the wrong thing. All right. Everyone can see my screen. Can see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, clear?
All right, good. Okay, because I cannot see the preview. We have paused this preview to save your resource or something. All right, no problem. All right, so let me explain. All right, this is just one side to introduce myself. All right, so I'm Kani Selvan. You can call me Kani. All right, so yeah, actually a professional software engineer. I'm working as a software developer, all right, software engineer. So I'm basically a full stack developer, but I'm more specialized on front end, especially in React. All right, I also do backend using Express.js or Python and all that. All right, so these are some of my working experience. I did my internship here in Engineers Lab, which is located in Bangsa South. This is basically a software house. All right, and then my first job was at Hong Leong Bank. So I was their Android developer for their Connect mobile app Malaysia team. All right, and then currently I'm working in
So he
Asia.
can't see at all? I'm legally blind. I can see barely.
Oh, someone is saying that they can't see. You can't see anything just now. Suddenly black screen. Thanks for letting me know by the sound. Okay. Uh, are you able to see now? I'm sharing. I'm sharing my slide. So you can only see this. Okay. Let me stop and share my screen again. Okay, I think this will be the right one. Okay, are you able to see my? No, you can't see. Yeah. I wonder why all of a sudden. Um, only Axel can see. No, I'm not asking whether you can see the Discord. Are you able to see my slides? Wait, let me share first. These are some technical issues. Okay. Okay, I know what to do now. I think I have to stop, share, selection, share the entire screen. Okay. Now you can see my slide at the back, right? Right, you can see, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, sorry for the technical issues. Okay, let me move to my slide. So, all right. So, yeah. So, this is what I was explaining just now. So, I'm currently working in Asia Digital Engineering, which is actually one of the Air Asia entity. Basically, it's their MRO side. MRO means their maintenance, their aircraft maintenance sites. So, you will be wondering what I'm doing in aircraft maintenance, whether I'm repairing the uh, aircraft or what, right? No, not really. We have a digital department there. So, over there, we have a lot of softwares and also one e-commerce. All right. So we have aircraft trading platform called as Aerotrade. So I'm the front end lead for the those products, and also I'm also lead for a few other material related softwares. Okay, so mostly internal use softwares, and only the commercial one is the aircraft trading platform, which is Aerotrade. You can have a look by looking at it. All right. So my education background is basically I'm a UTP alumni. All right, I'm a UTP grad in IT, major in software engineering. So any UTP grad here? Come on, make some noise. No noise, sadly. I'm the only one. All right, no problem. Okay, so all right, so that's all about me. Okay, without any further ado, so let me quickly move into our topic. So as I explained just now, we're going to learn the basics of React on how to set up, how to start a small project, and how to organize the file structure and so on. All right, so before we begin, why we need to learn React? All right, so anyone knows why we need to learn React? What's so special in React? Come on, just share your perspective. There's no right or wrong answer. What you know about React? Why React? Wherever you go in software engineering line or related talks or courses or whatever, they always talk about this React. Sometimes they talk about the, what do you call that? Angular. Sometimes Vue.js, right? But why popular? The most popular one is React. So why React? Okay, some of them are typing. That's why I'm waiting here. Okay, let's see what they're saying. Cause of UI UX. In a way, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. When it comes to React, okay, React is actually a front end. Okay, it's front end library. We can't really say call it as a framework. It is a front end library. So, and since it is a library and it is compatible with many other libraries, so we can easily build a very fast and nice front end applications. Okay. Okay, let me, while waiting for the others to complete their answers, okay, let me briefly show you why React is like, okay, some of this is AI answer, but I will also be explaining in detail. Okay, I didn't prepare the slide in a short time. All right, so basically the most popular is the virtual DOM. So let me share you with a picture. That's why I looked for it. And yeah, this is the nice picture to show you on. Okay, why I'm showing this because when it comes to React, okay, as I explained before, yeah, React is a library and it's compatible with many other libraries. So you can really build a very it's a very flexible dynamic, right? So as a developer, it's very easy for you to develop to accomplish the requirements easily. All right. So that's the reason. And you know, right, React is very popular, thus the community is also very big. And even if you have any issues, you can quickly search in Google and find the answer. And it's like, oh, so now we have AI, ChatGPTs and all that. It's quite easy. And also many open sources are available for React. All right, I think someone is unmute. Maybe can please mute up. All right. Right. So, and the most popular thing in React and why people love React is this virtual DOM thing. Okay. So when you render this website, all right, first, this is how this is what we call as DOM. Like if you know basic HTML, JavaScripts, and all that, you know about DOM, right? So in this DOM, this is how we paint the whole website. All right. But then in the normal JavaScript and all that. Okay, when you make some changes to specific your button or the what do you call it, any of the places, all right, this whole page has to re-render. All right. But when it comes to virtual DOM is like another what do you call that? Okay, in browser we have the actual DOM, all right. In React we have virtual DOM. So it's like a photocopy. Lah. They have a photocopy. React has a memory which has a photocopy of this DOM. All right, so that is what we call as virtual DOM. So let's say if you're making a small change to specific component, then it will check the the React will check wi- the new one with the old virtual DOM, and then it will only update in the actual DOM for that particular component only. So, for example, let's say let's go to Google. Okay, this is Google, right? Okay, if you're only making changes to this specific font here, let's assume that this is just one component, and the search bar is a different component. All right, if you're just making to this part changes to this part, okay, it will only update this particular uh, part, the component. It won't like re-render this whole page. That this is very fast and has a very good performance. All right. If you have any question, you can stop me. If you don't ask me, I will assume that you understand. Huh? All right. So that is why virtual DOM is a very good thing in React, so that you have high performance and what do you call that? And the user feels very smooth to use the application. But okay, this is one of the major thing. The second one, as I've already highlighted, it is it's a very huge it has a very huge community. So that's very it's very easy to develop. All right, and they have a lot of open sources. Other than that, is it worth to study, I mean, to learn, to know about, and also to master React? All right, so let's see. This is Stack Overflow. So everyone, we this is a genuine one. All right, in the survey in 2025, so you can see that each one is the most popular technologies. These are basically languages. So you can see the JavaScript, of course. Let's look at the frameworks. Frameworks. Okay, this is a framework. So here you can see that Node.js, of course. All right. So React. React is the most popular framework. All right. And you know, right? Next.js. Next.js basically is built on top of React. So basically, it is also in a way a React. All right. This is a React framework. So you can see that even a React is already as a framework. So it's so huge and so popular. Even let's check professionals. Yeah, they are also saying that React is one of the top. Of course, others are there like Laravel, Angular, Vue.js, and all that, and Ruby and on Rails and all. Each of it has their own pros and cons. Sometimes in some particular projects they might be using other frameworks, but if you ask me which one to master first, I would say React will be much easier for you to master. All right. Okay. Professional, yeah, wherever it is, React is always at the top. All right. So let's move into uh okay, what are other interesting things about React is you can say I think I've highlighted the most important one. Yes. So another one is reusability of components. Okay. When you develop something in React, it's more like a Lego blocks. Okay. So you will be building component by component, and then to build some layouts you will like a Lego, you will fix it one by one. Okay, so it will be very flexible and dynamic for you. So for example, assume that this is the page, like this is a page, right? Yeah, I think I have to better go this. Okay, this is a page, right? So over here we can say that this is one component and this is one component and this is one component and this search bar is one component and this font area is like one component. We can break it this search bar into few components. You can see that we have a text field here and we have a button, few buttons here. So all these are built on top of components like Legos. All right. So if you're not very so clear, it's okay. But if you have any question, feel free to ask before I start the development. So I'm gonna start development, yeah. Any question? Why we want to cook React plus Next.js? Next.js itself is React. Okay, it's Next.js built on top of React. So you don't need to say React plus Next.js. You can just call it Next.js plus Python. All right. Yeah. In my current job, we are using that Next.js Python. All right. Okay. It looks like there's no any other questions, and I believe everyone is good to go. Okay. So let's begin. All right. So I always prefer using React Quit. React Quit. Okay, you know what is React Quit? Okay, React Quit. I don't want to go in detail into React Quit. Maybe you can later have some Googles. Okay, but in simple terms, we have two ways of setting up the React CRA or Git. Okay, or you can learn all this. What is the differences? But nowadays, even the official React is itself not really encouraging CRA. They are encouraging Vite to use. It is very fast to develop and also to build the applications. All right. So let me move into. You can go to this Vite. You can search React Vite. Okay. I'm setting up the. I'm gonna start setting up the applications here. So I have already have a folder. So maybe I can start from scratch. Wait. Let me go to desktop. Okay. I'm gonna open. So this is an empty folder. All right, you can see there's no any files. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, we're gonna set up. So actually, I know all the commands and all that, but why I'm going into documentation, why I'm googling and all that is because I want you to also learn the skills of getting the right knowledge, how to get the right knowledge, how to search and all that. That is why I will be also showing in Google search and all that. Okay, so you can learn all these techniques, how we are referring to references. All right. So over here, you can see getting started. Okay. You can look for React. So this is obviously React. Uh, yeah, we're gonna use this npm create React. So go to your folders here, then terminal. Okay, then I'll put npm create with latest. So yes, we're gonna use this version.
I
All
didn't
right.
catch that. Can you repeat, please?
You didn't catch that. Okay, then give me a moment. All right. Which one you didn't catch? Let me wait for the answer. How to get the file? It's actually an empty file. All right. You just go to the folder and then you open with this what do you call it? VS Code. Or if you're using Windsurf or Finance Bolt or any other ID. All right. So you can just open it. It's just an empty folder. That's all. Okay, you got it. So there's a normal folder. And then we can go to this page and then get this command. Okay. And then you can paste it in the terminal and run it. Okay, make sure you have already set up all this npm, node.js, everything, yeah, the basics. I believe everyone knows that. Okay. So now my project name is going to be ToDo App, and I'm going to use React, then JavaScript. Okay, if you prefer, if you know TypeScript, you're well versed with TypeScript, you use TypeScript, but this project, I'm using JavaScript so that those who are from HTML, CSS, JavaScript background can learn. All right. Okay, now we just copy this whole thing, paste it here. Make sure the node version that you're using is above 20 something. Yeah? If possible, use the most latest one to support this React with a latest version. Okay, it has installed everything for us. Okay, we already have the boilerplate, and since it's the one, okay, it's running. All right. Yeah, similar. For Python, we use pip, right? For npm is you can use npm, pnpm, and all that. All right, it's a package manager. All right. So okay, so we already set the boilerplate. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this whole page. Make it. We're gonna clear it. Okay. So this is the source. All right. So over here we have index. Let it be. Okay. This is the main jax. We're not gonna disturb this. Nothing over here. I'm going to delete. Uh. Yeah. I like to delete all of them. Yeah. I don't want anything. Then app CSS too. Delete all. Already clear. I don't start from scratch. So over here we just delete this part. All right, and also this. Don't need. This. Okay. So in index, I've already cleared all my CSS. Min.js, I've already cleared. Yeah, is everything is okay here? Objects clear. Okay, good to go. All right. So I'll recommend you to use app.js. Okay, let main.js be just like that. Okay, you can start from app.js. Okay. So here, let me put hello world. Okay, hello world. So let's preview. You can see, right? Hello world. Everyone can see the hello world. Come on, make some noise. I can't hear any noise. Noise.
Thank you, kind
All
sir.
right. Thank you. All right. Okay. So next. So what we're gonna do is it's working, and let's okay. In for ToDo app, we need a list, right? So what is ToDo app? Okay. If you wonder what is ToDo app, this is ToDo app. Yeah. Okay. Let me look for some images. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna do something like this. You can say something like this. Okay, to do app, or we can also say something like this. We will have a add but text field with a submit button, and then you will have few other buttons like uh, uh, check. I mean, saying that like this, saying that you are done, and then you can have a delete and also edit buttons. Okay, so for now, let's begin with a list. How to build a list. All right. Today I'll be focusing mostly on the basics ones. Okay. Tomorrow or not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, which is on 14th August. All right. On 14 August, we will be focusing more on complex logics, okay, and working on the buttons logics and learn more on the hooks and all that. All right. For today, we'll be focusing mostly on the basics. All right. So first, let's have the title. To do React to do app. React to do app. And also I'll be teaching you on how to use CSS and all that. All right. And we won't be using this CSS, we'll be using module CSS. So what is module CSS? What's the difference between this and module CSS? Okay, later I will guide you. Okay, first let's build the structure, a basic structure. Yeah, React to do app. Okay, next is we're gonna have a list. So let's have um we can say uh order trees. Okay, all right. So we can say that we have three to do. Is someone typing? No. Oh, if you're using SASS, CSS is okay, no problem. But I prefer using module CSS. All right. If you have elbows with tailwind and all that, it's very good. But today we are focusing on React, right? So that is why I didn't cover tailwind and React and all that. It will consume a lot of time. All right, so over here I can say that okay, my to do is okay, maybe okay, take break first. Then I can say water front. Then what else? Wash car. I'm just simply putting something there. Okay, let's see how it is. Yes. So we have the title and we have the list, but we want it to be at the center. So now this is where the CSS comes in. So for now, what we can do is instead of using app CSS, we can use, okay, you want to know the differences. What is app CSS and module CSS? Apps, if you put app CSS, it's global. So let's say in index, you have something like, okay, title, okay, you have something like title, and even in app CSS, you have title, then there'll be a conflict. That's the reason. Okay, so if you don't trust me, we can try. So I put a title here. I also want to import. Hmm, no. Okay, so I see in the title here, I put color as the font color is basically maybe uh blue. Okay, which is here, index CSS. Then I have another CSS. Here I'll put it as color red. So that's how it was blue, here red. Okay, so over here we have two CSS files, and then I'm gonna use class name. Okay, let me have a quiz. What color will it be? Will it be red, blue, or black? Let me open a poll. Okay, there's title color. Okay, red, blue, black, or nothing. So, which color will it be? The title. Come on, guys, try. So you look here. Let me show the code again. Oh, right now we have imported two CSS files. Okay, which is app and index.css. Okay, these two. Okay, in the index.css, you can see that we have title, which is blue. The color is blue. And when it comes to app, the color is red for the same title name. All right. So over here, I'm applying this class name title for this React to do app header. So what color will this font be in our website? Before I show you the preview, can I see what will be the answer? Okay, let me see what you guys answering. Looks like a balance, red, blue, nothing. Okay, let's preview. Yeah, it's a black. Nothing has happened. Okay, okay, let me check whether I apply it correctly or not. Uh, check. I think I didn't apply it correctly. It should be dotted. Yes. Sorry, yeah. It should be dotted, not a hashtag. Okay, because you're using class name here. All right. So yeah, it is red. The correct answer is red. Okay. So let's see who's three of them said red. Oh, now Kaiser. All right. So four of you. Okay. So this is because if what will happen if I switch, I'll import app CSS first, then the index. Now it will become oh, index color CSS. What are in the same thing? Okay. So still remains the rate. There'll be some conflict, guys, always. So that is why the right method is instead of using this, because the CSS will be global. All right. So when we build this website, okay, what will happen is they'll take all the CSS and compile it into one style sheet. Okay, and then it will be linked in all this name. So that is where the conflict happens. So to avoid all these, we make it modular. So if you put like module.css, second, you just need to rename, nothing much. Dot module, that's it. So when the app, okay, when the browser builds, when the browser happens, ah, when the browser builds this application, okay, it knows that this app.module.css is a separate CSS, it's a modular CSS. Okay, so even though they have the same names in other CSS files, okay, it will be treated differently. Okay, so that is the that is the point why I prefer using why we prefer using module.css. So to import this module.css, okay, we don't use index here. Import is styles from whatever. I feel like I'm wrong. You know, okay, it's okay. Mm, no, this shouldn't be. Okay, let me dot okay. Styles dot I could okay, let me double check. React module. Maybe look at a simple example. So I think it was fine. Okay, okay, should be correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder why it still doesn't works. Mm, this is app. Let me check whether it's shining or not. Let me change this color to maybe brown. Okay, it's working. Actually working. All right. So over here, if you import this as app module.css and then you should name it as styles. Okay, then how do we refer it to which CSS? So you can go to this app module.css, we have title, right? You can just put styles.title. Okay, are you clear with this module.css? Okay, let's try for the listing. Okay, so now what I want to do now is sorry, I want to make this whole thing to center. So what we can do is we can go here, we can maybe make this as a div. All right, then okay, first we can call this as container. Okay, so everything is inside this one container, right? So we can say display. I love to play with flex. Flexible is quite easy. Define content, center, and then I also want okay, how should be yeah container, right? So we have to link here class name, copy this whole thing. Here, so you have styles and which we are referring to which one container, right? So styles dot container. Now we can see everything is at the center, but I want it to be header at the top and the list at the bottom, right? So we should add this part. No, flex direction column. And then this align items should be centered. All right. Now everything's at the center. Okay. So far good, right? All right. So what I want to do next? Let's build and let's instead. Okay. Let's start adding something to to our ToDo app. Basically, we want to have a text field here. Okay, we have an input, but input field and a button to add more into the list. Okay, so what we can do here is we can first add input. Sorry, input. All right, it's a text. Yes, correct. And then I want to have a button. So the type is so what I want to do is I want to make this uh, to be horizontal. I want this button to be next to the box. So what we can do is we can make these two into a container. So how we can separate this using a div. Okay, all right. So you can see now it's next to each other. Okay, so if we type something, okay, maybe it's not so beautiful and all that because we are not focusing so much on CSS right now. We are focusing on the simple functionalities, then we move to CSS. Okay, so we want this input to work. We should type something and then when we click add, it should add here. Right. So what we can do is we should whenever you type something, it should store at a place. Only then when you click add, it should be able to add into this place. So what we can do is to create a it's good to create a state. But before that, I want it to be in an array instead of this hard code. This is hard coded, right? These values. So I want it to be in an array first. Constant. Okay. To do this. So I can say, okay, take the first. I can say, okay, wash clothes. Then you can say, okay, flowers. All right. So what we can do here is we already have a array of a variable called to-do list, which is an array. Okay. So now we can map this. If you're familiar with all these JavaScripts, then you know, right? What is map? So map is basically like for do for it's a loop. Okay, to do looping. Loop. So this is how you do it. Item. Then we have over here. You can see you want to have sorry. See. Yeah, so what are we doing is we are looping this. We are looping this to do list. So one by one will be returned as listed items. So you can see it's still the same. Alright, right? Take breakfast, wash clothes, water flowers. Take breakfast, wash clothes, water flowers. Right? So now I should when I type here, I should be able to add into this list. So what we can do is when we type something, we should be able to store it somewhere. So what I can say, I want to store. Okay, maybe I can store. Okay, this is where the state comes in. Okay, it's use state. So your use state is similar to what do you call that? Use state is similar to this variable. The functionality is more or less similar. Okay, to store values. But what happens is whenever you assume that I do put a text, then it as a set. So what you can do is you can also set update the values using this. And let me state. Okay, what happens is this is the value. Okay, this is similar to this to-do list. I mean, like, is the concept is like a variable, all right, and this callback function is used to set value into this text, all right. So this use state, whenever you update this anything, okay, any of these use states, okay, this component will be re-rendered. So it will be updated. So remember the virtual DOM, okay, it will update only the specific component. So basically, if you have one whole page with various multiple components, it won't re-render the whole multiple components. Okay, it will only update one specific components which needs to be updated unless there is a dependencies with another component. If I say in this component is also depend another component is also depending on this component, then both will be re-rendered. That's all. All right. So no worries if you feel a bit confused or whatever. Step by step, you can understand better when we move further. All right. So rigorous stores, what we can do is whenever you type something, okay, I want the value, okay, to be stored inside this text. So e dot value. So let's set by console log. So what we can do is you can see there console dot log. Then I'll put text. So what I'm doing here is you can see that whenever I'm typing something, I want to check whether the value is updated or not. So you can see I have a console. Let me close this. Okay. So you see here when I type something, it's updating. Yes or no? Okay. So whenever I'm making some changes in the input, okay, the set text, okay, this function is updating the value of this text, and this whole page is refreshing. But if you see that this app.jxs is inside this main JX, is it re-rendering? If you want to check, okay, let's console log. Okay, I want to check whether this is also rendering. All right. You can see that I'm from me from the essence. Okay. All right. So now you see when I type A, main.jxs is not, we are unable to see this because we are not updating in this component. We are only updating this particular component. So that is why we are able to see this console log. All right. So let's say, again, let's say I make this block, okay, this one container to a separate component. So what we can do, we can create like a components folder. Okay, I'm creating a component folder. Okay, it's good to have a proper file structure so that it'll be easier for you to maintain this project. And also to whenever your project is scaling, okay, or maintaining this project will be much easier. Lah. All right. So this is components. I want to name it as okay, search box. Search okay, search box. Searchbox.jsx. We use JSX for React because we can write HTML like we can basically write HTML inside the JavaScript function, right? That is why we call it as Java. Uh, uh, what do you use? JSX. Okay, that's one of the interesting thing in React. All right. So what I'm gonna do? So you have this. So make sure you have this export default. Okay, it should be same. All right. So basically, you're saying that we are exporting this. All right, these are like standards for React. Okay, if you are creating a component, then this is how should be the pattern. Make sure the name is similar. Okay, right over here, I'm gonna copy paste this one. Copy paste here. Okay, done. So we don't have this set text here, so we have to copy this, but put it here. All right, so we have the state and we need another one, which is this use state. Okay, we need to import all this, huh? Next is okay. So now what happened is there's the what do you call that? The search box is missing, right? So how to import this is we can go here. Previously it was here, right? So you can call search box so you can see the suggestion, then close it. So now when you click, you can go into this. And yeah, we able to see this. So now you can see that this particular search, okay, and with the button has become one separate component. Okay, this one block is a separate component. All right. So let's say if I console log this text now here, I can say that I'm from search box. Okay. All right. So now we can see if I make changes to the search box, basically in the search box, I'm doing some changes in the input and we are typing something into the input and we are storing inside the text, right? So only this component will be updated. And here you can see, app. And this is from main. So this is the hierarchy, right? So this is the main. Okay, this is where the first file will be rendered. Inside here we have app, and then we have this app. All right, inside this app we have search box. Okay, so let's see. On the first render, we can see that we have main, we have app, we have search. All right, that's common to have twice for each components. All right. Then okay, let's say if I update something, okay, I'm just updating this particular search, right? So I update this A, we can see that only search box is re-rendered. That is why you see here, when I render the whole page, I'm reloading, everything is rendered, the main and the app and then the search box. Okay, they're following the hierarchy, the main, and then inside the main we have app, inside this app we have search box. But when I update, okay, let me clear. When I update something, it's only updating the search box. So we are not re-rendering the whole page. We are just updating this one block because that is where we are making the changes. That is why it's very fast and good, especially for a system or application that has a lot of good functionalities. So are you clear about this? Are you able to understand? Come on, make some noise. Are you understand, guys?
Thank you, kind sir.
Okay, thank you for the noise. All right, so let's move. So now we understand how the components works, right? And the specialty of React. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have add functionalities. So how? Okay, over here. Now we have to be able to store the text values already. So you can see that whenever I'm typing something, oh my god, you'll be able to store inside this. This console log will be very helpful for you to debug and all that. All right. So you can see clear. Okay. So you can see the values are being stored. So I can say, okay, uh, wash car. All right. So it is stored. So now we want to add into this list when you click add. So for that, in the button, you can add this properties, which is on Okay, and then you want to do some function. So what you want to do is you want to add into the list, but how to communicate between the search box and also this to do this. Okay, so what we can do is instead of storing this inside the variable, we can have a use state similar like this. Okay, why we need a use state? Because first we can pass into this component the values, and also we can set it similar like how we did for this text and set text. Got it? So if you're not clear, just look at it. Look at the sample I'm gonna do. So this is a to do this, then to do this. Okay, what I'm gonna do is this is standard now. You should have this set so that it's a this is a practice that we always follow. It is if this is to do list, then we put set and then camel case to do list. Okay, so that it's easier for you to understand that we are setting the values here. What we want to do is this one is to do this uh, constant. All right, so this is the default. Okay, to do this default. Okay, so I'm gonna put it as you can initialize. Okay, even if let's say if you leave it empty here, that means the to do list is empty right now. So you can have initial values, then later you can update more values into this to do list. So first, let me change and put it here. Time. Now you can see it's still the same. It works similar, just that yeah, it's easier for you to pass as a props and all that. So now, how to pass this set to do list here? Because when I add button, I want to set this to I want to set values, which means I want to add more values into this to do list. All right. So how? So we can pass as a prop. Okay, we can pass. Do you know pass pattern? Something like that. You're just passing. So over here you can go to search box and then you create this. Okay, then you can do here. You can write a function. Okay, set to do this, but this time it's not e-target already. We have already stored the values tags. So now do you understand? When you type, you are storing all the values into this state here called as text. Then when you click add button, you are updating this list by adding this text value. So which is here, all right? So this will update this to-do list. If you don't trust me, let's see. Okay, I'm updating ABC. All right. So let's look at the add. Nothing happens. Okay, so the issue is all right. So what's happening is this is basically an array. Okay, but what happens is okay from this array you are changing it into a single string because you are setting as string. Yeah, that's a string, single string, right? Text is a single string. So you can see text is basically a single string instead of array. So what we can do is we can say. Okay, I usually use this method. We, let me try this whether it's working or not. Okay. I don't think so. Let me just try the structure method. Okay, you see it works. So what we are saying is this since this is an array, so you have these previous values. Okay, we destructure these previous values. basically we are adding more values into the array list. So basically, this is an array, right? So we are adding more values at the back. That's all. So more and more values. So you can see here, I'm typing okay, wash, car, edit. And then you want to say, I want to like, okay, read moves. Then we able to add more and more values. All right. Over here, we have few issues that the user can face. Okay, when you're developing a React application or system, you should think from the user's perspective and also when you're writing all the logics. When you click add, do you want it to remain or you want to reset to empty fields? Let's say I'm saying that okay, read novel. Yeah, uh, read novel. Okay. When I click add, I want it to add it here and then I want this text field to be cleared automatically instead of I'm clearing it uh, by myself. Or else you see the user can be like, okay, they can add, they can spam. All right. So to avoid that, what we can do is we can, instead of writing it in this way, this function, okay, I want to make it look nicer. So I can say that constant, I'm writing a different function. Okay, add to do. Okay, this is a function inside the search box. Okay, so instead of doing it there, I'm gonna do it here. All right. So I'm just gonna call this function here. So it's the same, just like just now I wrote the whole function here. Now I have replaced it with a separate function. I've called as it the add to do text. Okay, so you can see that was car. It works the same thing, same thing. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to add more logic. So where I want to clear this text to empty. So set text to null. So now when I say wash car and add, it's not updating. So what we can do is the text line. We should add a value here. Then put text. So what is happening value is we are giving value to this input. So then I clear, should clear. Okay, I think I won't save. Let me try that. It's still not clearing, but actually it's not. So maybe I can put empty string. Yes, okay. So instead of putting null, you should put an empty string so that it will empty this text. So I say wash car and add. It's added here and we have cleared the input so the user can easily put more inputs, more different inputs. Okay, got it? All right, so next one. What if they put double few times spaces and then they type read books at kids works fine. What if they put I wonder what if they have like read then dot. Usually the value will be like having some spaces here. So let's say if you are not how do I tell you? Okay, let me check these values. Sure. So can you see when I update this, okay, wash, car, all right, here at, you can see that this component is also updated, re-rendered, okay, wash car, and then search box is also re-rendered because you have cleared this text values. So here we have wash car and without spaces because I didn't put space. What if I put space? space at the back, empty values, see, at. Oh here, can you see some blank spaces? Okay, this is unnecessary, right? So when we store values, we need to, usually we want to avoid that, right? So what we can do is, we can always remove this by putting trim. So if I put pause, you can see that there is no spaces. So I put more space, you can see, then I add, no, no space. All right, so we have also improvised that. All right, so next one, what you want to do is, what else we need in search box? Okay, okay, we already cleared the empty spaces. Okay, good. What will happen if, okay, what I want to do is, next, in ToDo app, we should be able to, okay, since next class we can focus more on other functionalities like check, like tick and other buttons like edit and delete. For now, okay, we already learned some basics, right? Like on how to create uh components, okay, how to pass props, what is use state, okay, all right. So we have learned that, and what we can do now, okay, we also learned about module CSS. So now we can focus more on CSS, okay, to make it more prettier. Is it okay? So far clear? Sumo? Everyone looks so quiet. Come on, make some noise. Okay, another 15 minutes more.
Thank you, kind sir.
Okay, 15 minutes more.
Thank you, kind sir. Thank you, kind sir.
Okay, the class is not over yet. You don't say
Thank you,
thank you.
kind sir.
Tore mata separuh cikgu.
What noise is that? All right. So, okay, let's focus on CSS. Okay, we are done with some functionalities. So I'm keeping some like the check, edit, delete buttons and all that for next class. All right. And also I'll be covering next class. Also, we'll be covering more about the hooks on performance and all that. All right. For now, let's focus on the CSS. Let's make this app more beautiful. All right. So what we can do is maybe we can make this bigger and add some backgrounds. Like something like this. Okay, something like can have some backgrounds here, the container, the boxes. Okay, come on, let's do. All right, what we can do is behind this list. Okay, what I want to do is I want to make this listing into a separate folder, another component. Okay, I want to make this part as a separate component. This listing as a separate component. So what we can do is, okay, I'm gonna create another one. Let me put this as, okay, to do cart. Sorry, do cart item. Yes. So this will be for one particular item, which means we're gonna do CSS for this one particular item. So what we're gonna do is we're no more gonna show you one, two, three. Okay, just one beautiful box for each of these items. Okay, later each of these items will be put into a one big container, similar like this design. You see this design looks much better, right? Okay, this one small box. Okay, this is the item box. One, two, three item boxes, and then we have one big container. Okay, we're gonna develop that. So let me do it quickly. So over here, This is boilerplate. Sorry, the boilers. Sorry, template. All right. So now what I want to do is we will be passing the text, right? We need a text. Then we gonna display it here. This is how you. This is a prop. And then you pass the prop, and what you're gonna do with the prop? So you're gonna display the prop. Similar like search box, right? We are just passing. Okay. All right. So what will happen is, okay, before I call this everything, let me replace these items into to do card item. Okay, over here, you know, right? We need this tags. Okay, we need this tags. So do this tags plus item. So now you can see it will be similar, but without the 1, 2, 3 because we have removed the I. So to be more clear and better, we can have a CSX. Okay, you can call it as mm, to do card item dot module dot css. So if we add more and more and more, the list will be, if we add more components, then the list will be really big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a inside the component, I'm gonna have a folder for to do card item. Inside this folder, I'm gonna put everything related to do card item. So it will be easier. Here the file structure will looks better and easier to maintain. All right. So this is just a folder, no need to be so confused. Okay, the functionality remains the same. So you have imported here. All right, and then over here, I'm going to import my CSS. So styles from to do item dot module dot css. So inside this style, what I'm gonna do is let me put a container. Don't get confused. This container is for the to do cart item only. So I'm gonna put this background color white. Okay, and then I want to have a border. Okay, 1 pixel solid. Let me put red first. So what will happen if I put a class name, then styles dot container. So you can see that this container is from this to do cart items because the style is from this file. All right, that's how I link it. So now you can see we have each of it as the inside this to do cart item. So, but looks messy, terrible, right? So let's make it looks cleaner and better. So what we can do is, you see in this picture, it has white background and it has space, okay, the all around it. So what we can do, all right, we can put padding. I'm not removing the border first, later at the end, so that you can see. Okay, padding, and then I'm gonna put like 20 pixel. What will happen? Okay, they have some spaces all around, and then I want it to be a longer, bit more longer. Let's have some minimum width. Okay, so minimum width. I want it to be like okay 300 pixel. Assume just check. Okay, much better, right? Maybe I can put it. Okay, nice. So now let's add some curve here at the corner. So for that, you can use border radius. Okay, 5 pixel. So you can see you have beautiful borders. Then now we need to have gaps in between. All right. At the same time, we don't want to have this border line. So what I can do is I want to remove this border. What will happen? You can't see at all. Okay, so maybe I can change this background color to blue first, green, just temporarily. Okay, this is how it is right now. Each of the items, we need to add some gaps. So what we can do is this is actually one container. We can make this as one component. All right now, this is individual card. This is individual card. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 cards here, but this is individually built component. So I want to compile everything into another one big container right now, which is inside this. This is considered one container. So what I want to do, I can create another one. Okay, maybe I can say this as another folder. Sorry, not here. Inside the computer. Okay. To do card. To do card. To do list. Okay. We can write this as to do list. To do list dot. Sorry, to do list. Now inside this to do list, or we can say this as enough for you to easily understand to do list container. Oh yeah, to do list container. So this is individually built, each card item. So now we have to put everything inside here into this container. So to do this container.jsx, then do the same for the, maybe for that, do the same for the module.css. So here we can have, then here in spans, and all right. So now instead of writing this logic, okay, inside the app, I have to put into this to do list container. So what we can do is we can call this as, okay, to do list. So what we can do is inside this container, we can do this logic. We do list dot map, okay, item, a similar thing, just like inside this to list container. Mm, okay, to do list item, to do card item, and to pass the prop tags. This actually item. So we have a prop to-do list and we're mapping it into each of the cart items. All right, so what will happen? This is the default value, like there's no any, yeah, I don't want to confuse you with this. Okay, to-do list, and remove this whole thing. We have replaced this with this one. Okay, do this. All right, so over here, we need this prop, which is to do this. Then you pass the prop to do this. So now can you see? We can't. I think I've missed out something. Then to do this. Okay, oh, I didn't import this properly. Okay, now I should be fine. So we're able to see this. Okay, now let's add some CSS. Here, since this is inside this big container, right? So we can class name sans. We haven't. Okay, what I want to do is, so it's another container. This is the container of this to-do list, right? So let's call this as let's have some gaps in between of the each card. So what we can use, you can try display flags Okay, display flags can be used. It's really try to master this CSS flags box. Okay, this CSS flags box. Okay, it will be really helpful, and also if possible, and grid. Yeah, if possible, master these two will be really helpful for you for front end. All right. So what I want to do is I want to have gaps similar like this image. Okay, I want to have gap in betweens. So what we can do is gap and put 10 pixel. So let's see. Ta-da, nothing happens. So what we can do is let's say put gap. No. What we can do is put a flag and flags direction should be column. Yes. Then this something is wrong here. What I can do is each card should have a gap. Oh, mm, okay, I should first call it properly as styles dot, and we should link this to this pipe. Okay, okay, so now we have the gap. And we also want to have some gaps from the search box, which is here. You can see in between these, we want to have some gaps. So what we can do, we can add into this app container. So where it is container, we can say that we want some gap. So 10 pixel. Ta-da, we have gaps in between this title and the search box has some gap, and the search box and this item should have some gaps. All right, so I have to make it much bigger. All right. Okay, so now I want to have in this big container, I want to add some background color similar like this. So what I can do, where is to do list container? Here, this container, I want to add some different background color. So I can add a background color, make it aqua. So now you can see this aqua is too bright. Okay, this Alice blue. And then I want to make this from green to the cut item, to the cut item order, green to white. So it's not so visible for you, right? So what I can do is I can make this to finish aqua. All right. However, this is not similar to this one. So what we can do is need to have some paddings around, so it look like a proper cut. So we can have some padding. All right. So it looks nice, and we still need to add some radius, border radius. All right. So it looks better now. So I want to change this aqua to okay. So yeah, we have done with this CSS for these cards. All right. So later we can focus more on the functionalities, and even you want to add more CSS for the search box. Okay, you can try yourself. All right. So since it's already 10:30, I would like to stop here. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You're saying that enlarge the container. I believe that this is okay, right? You need to, if you want it to be to make it more bigger, you can add, you can play around with the sizes in CSS. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions that you want to ask? Anything, anything related to React or software development, career tips? Okay, feel free to ask. Come on. For now, I'll stop this application here to continue on Thursday. Okay. So now I open the floor to ask questions. Hello, is anyone sleeping? Maybe put sound. Okay, come on. Yes, you're awake. Good. All right, good. Okay, let's see how many quacks are awake. Oh, okay, good. Thank God you didn't sleep. All right, all right, guys. So if any question, come on, you can ask me. I believe if you're a first timer and all that in React, you will be like, bro, what is this? What's going on? What is doing? Okay, come on, you ask whatever you feel like asking. Okay, don't be shy. I give you last 2 minutes. At 10:35, I will close. How do you optimize performance in your application? What techniques do you use to measure and improve rendering speed? There are various. Okay, there are various. Okay, so I'll be covering use callback and use memoization. Okay, in next class. This is a simple improvisation that can be done, but there are various. Okay, for different purposes. There's a different solutions, but the most common one is the memoization using use memo, use callback, something like that. And also like you should also know when to use states, use effect, and all that. You should use the tools correctly. Lah. That's what I would say. Even though you have a F1 car, okay, but you don't know how to drive, there's no point, right? You won't be reaching your destination. Okay, so that's how it is. You should learn on how to use those tools properly first.
Thank you, kind sir. Thank you, kind sir.
I can see some of them typing, that's why I'm waiting. Eh? If no means
Thank you,
it's
kind sir.
how long I need to expert in React. How will I answer this? This depend on each individual. Can depend on how much of effort you're putting in, how much of projects you're doing. Okay, and so on plays an important role. Okay, it's not all about just learning a documentation or learning watching tutorials. Okay, you should do projects. Okay, you should do various kinds of projects. Like first, maybe you can start from your own portfolio. Then you can move to a company profile, maybe. Then you can move to like a simple a shop in shop you don't need to build a whole system. Maybe you can, when it comes to let's say you're having a clothes shop, okay, then at least you can try on a product listing page, right? Then slowly you can add on like searching functionalities. Then slowly you can move to the next page, like you're heading to add to cart. Okay, you can try these kind of things. So this to-do app will be something very simple one. At the same time, you also master the code functionalities using React. Okay, so keep doing many projects. Okay, even you can watch YouTube. When you watch YouTube, don't watch the whole video. Then only then you start doing it. But don't. What you do is while watching, do the project together. All right. So I can see someone else work with React, Tailwind, CN will be fun. Yeah, it's a good thing. Tailwind, CN, everything is just a what do you call it? It's like a UI libraries, right? You can make use of that. In my current company, okay, in my current organization, we are using MEI React. Okay, for forms, for forms, we are using React Hook form library. Then for API calls, we are using Axios. For caching, we are using React Query. There are various things. All right, so looks like that's all from everyone. I hope I can see each one of you on comments. If possible, bring more people in. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Okay, see you all here. Before I leave, So is there anything?
Okay, so I think there is no more question, so we can end this session right now. Okay, thank you so much, our mentor, Mr. Kali7, for the session, and we're going to be continuing on this Thursday, 14th of August for part 2. Alright, everyone, kita join kita hari Khamis ni untuk for part 2 of React workshop. Okay, so
Okay.
by tomorrow, if we got the recording, we will share with you. Okay, everyone. So make sure to
Thank you, kind sir.
review the recorded session.
Thank you,
If you are
kind
missing
sir.
out probably the early minutes of the class, and then review what we have learned for today, so that you can get prepared for the next class on Thursday nanti. Okay, thank you so much everyone. Kita boleh bersurai pada malam ni. Kita jumpa Khamis ni.
Baru cikgu.
Okay, terima kasih. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
selamat malam.
Bye bye.
Baru cikgu.